counsel and advice to the President for the good management of the public affairs of the Republic of Zambia. So help me God.
Congratulations. I think we can all deserve the appointment. Good luck.
Honorable Alexander B. Chikwanda, MP, Minister of Finance.
I, Alexander Chikwanda, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President of the Republic of Zambia, so that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia and the law established. So help me God. I, Alexander Chikwanda, having been appointed minister in the government of the Republic of Zambia, do swear that I will, in this office, well and truly serve the Republic and the President of Zambia, and I will not directly or indirectly reveal or transmit any such information or matters that shall be brought under my consideration or shall be made known by me by reason of my office, except as may be required in the discharge of my duty as such, or with the authority of the President. So help me God. Thank you very much. Please continue.
Honorable Dr. Ngosa Simbiakula, MP, Minister of Justice.
I, Ngosa Simbiakula, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President of the Republic of Zambia, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia as by law established. So help me God. I, Ngosa Simbiakula, having been appointed minister in the government of the Republic of Zambia, do swear that I will in this office well and truly serve the Republic and President of Zambia, and I will not directly or indirectly reveal or transmit any such information or matters that shall be brought under my consideration or shall be made known to me by reason of my office, except as may be required in the discharge of my duties as such, or with the authority of the President. So help me God.
Minister, thank you.
Honorable Davis Mwila, MP, Minister of Home Affairs.
I, Davis Mwila, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President of the Republic of Zambia, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia as by law established. So help me God.
For 5 minutes.
I, Davis Mwila, having been appointed minister in the government of the Republic of Zambia, do swear that I will in this office well and truly serve the Republic and President of Zambia, and I will not directly or indirectly review or transmit any such information or matters as shall be brought under my consideration or shall be made known to me by reasons of my office, except as may be required in the discharge of my duties as such or with the authority of the President. So help me God.
Honorable Joseph Kasonde, MP, Minister of Health.
I, Joseph Kasonde, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President of the Republic of Zambia, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia as by law established. So help me God. I, Joseph Kasonde, having been appointed minister in the government of the Republic of Zambia, do swear that I will, in this office, well and truly serve the Republic and the President of Zambia. And I will not directly or indirectly reveal or transmit any such information or matters as shall be brought to my consideration or shall be made known to me by reason of my office, except as may be required in the discharge of my duties as such, or with the authority of the President. So help me God.
Honorable Harry Calabar, MP, Minister of Foreign Affairs.
I, Harry Calabar, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President of the Republic of Zambia, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia as by law established. So help me God. President. I, Harry Calabar, having been appointed minister in the government of the Republic of Zambia, do swear that I will in this office well and truly serve the Republic and President of Zambia, and I will not, directly or indirectly, reveal or transmit any such information or matters as shall be brought under my consideration or shall be made known to me by reason of my office, except as may be required in the discharge of my duties as such or with the authority of the President. So help me God. Congratulations, good luck.
Honorable Jean Kapata, MP, Minister of Tourism and Arts.
I, Jean Kapata, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President of the Republic of Zambia, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia as by law established. So help me God. President. I, Jean Kapata, having been appointed minister in the government of the Republic of Zambia, do swear that I will in this office well and truly serve the Republic and the President of Zambia, and I will not directly or indirectly review or transmit any such information or matters as shall be brought under my consideration or shall be made known to me by reason of my office as may be required in the discharge of my duties as such or the authority of the President. So help me God. Congratulations, my minister. Thank you. Good luck.
Honorable Dawson Kafwaya, MP, Provincial Minister.
Northwestern.
I, Dawson Kafwaya, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President of the Republic of Zambia, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia as by the law established. So help me God. I, Dawson Kafwaya, having been appointed Provincial Minister in the government of the Republic of Zambia, do swear that I will in this office well and truly serve the Republic and the President of Zambia, and I will not directly or indirectly review or transmit any such information or matters as shall be brought under my consideration or shall be made known to me by reason of my office, except as may be required in the discharge of my duties as such with the authority of the President. So help me God.
If you continue murmuring, I will not tell you who this man is. If you continue murmuring, I will not tell you who this man is. So keep quiet and let's finish the proceedings.
Mr. Amos Chanda, Special Assistant to the President, Press and Public Relations.
I, Amos Chanda, swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President of the Republic of Zambia, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia as by law established. So help me God. I, Amos Chanda, having been appointed Special Assistant Press and Public Relations, do swear that I will well and truly serve the Republic of Zambia, the Republic and President of Zambia, and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President and the Republic of Zambia, that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia as by law established, and that I will not directly or indirectly review or transmit any such information or matter as shall be brought under my consideration or shall be made known to me by reason of my office, except as may be required in the discharge of my duties and of my duties as such or with the authority of the President. So help me God.
Mr. Kaiser Zulu, Special Assistant to the President, Political Affairs.
I, Kaiser Zulu, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President of the Republic of Zambia, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia as by law established. So help me God.
This one. That's how it sounds. That's unique, huh?
I, Kaiser Zulu, having been appointed Special Assistant Political, do swear that I will well and truly serve the Republic and the President of Zambia, and I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President and the Republic of Zambia. That I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia as by law established, and that I will not directly or indirectly reveal or transmit any such information or matter as shall be brought under my consideration or shall be made known to me by reason of my office, except as may be required in the discharge of my duties as such or with the authority of the President, so help me God.
We're talking about this. And welcome back to State House.
Mr. Emmanuel Chiluganama, Permanent Secretary, State House.
I, Emmanuel Chiluganama, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President of the Republic of Zambia, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia as by law established. So help me God. I, Emmanuel Chiluganama, having been appointed Permanent Secretary, do swear that I will well and truly serve the Republic and the President of Zambia, and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President and the Republic of Zambia, that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia as by law established, and that I will not directly or indirectly reveal or transmit any such information or matter as shall be brought under my consideration or shall be made known to me by reason of my office, except as may be required in the discharge of my duties as such or with the authority of the President. So help me God. Congratulations. Welcome to State House. Thank you. We're done?
Yes, I may want to say something before we sing the national anthem song.
Yes, I have a few things to say. Are these mics open?
Yes. We should read the articles.
Congratulations to the newly appointed, and all I can say is that I spoke yesterday, and by this act of appointing colleagues to this portfolio in the cabinet, I have spoken further. As for appointees to offices at State House, my message to you is that in the past In fact, all presidents have assured the nation that they will be available to the public, but it's the staff at State House who have made it possible or impossible. So the challenge that you face, colleagues, as you enter your offices at State House is to make sure that the wish and desire of the president to meet the public and the nation at large is fulfilled. Several times the president could sit there waiting for an appointment he has made, but staff, due to bureaucracy and other reasons, have made it in fact impossible for the president to see the people. So my challenge is that your job is not to insulate or isolate the president. Your job is not to insulate or isolate the president. Your job is to make the president efficient and transparent. So you should endeavor to make sure that you do the best for the presidency and do the best for the people of Zambia. And I will not hesitate, since my time in State House is very short, I will not hesitate to use this ink to remove you from office. There is one gentleman, you murmured, seemingly not knowing him. He's the Honorable Member of Parliament for Sulawesi Central. I've decided to make him Provincial Minister for North Western Province. He's from the UPND. This is in our quest for inclusiveness. And I know that it might raise some dust, but I'll stand by him. And just like those who were supporting others, in fact, in this event, let me carry the story forward. I'm appointing Vukwan Nathane, Honorable Member of Parliament for Sulawesi Central, who is now Provincial Minister for North Western Province, to move into Southern Province and take over from one Daniel Munkombe. I'll be swearing in this minister for Southern Province when I return shortly, because we'll be going into the AU, I think, in a day or two. Suffice to say that I'm taking keen interest in the conduct of my ministers, because I did not expect Honorable Munkombe, much as he may not have lacked my face, to do what he did because as a minister. Any other person like ordinary member of the party, I would have tolerated that in the name of democracy. But I don't expect anyone in the Central Committee of the party, in government, of PF, to stand in defiance openly and support the opposition to the position taken by the party. Either you are with us or not. And I think that's one aspect of democracy. I'm not trying to open a can of worms for those who supported other political parties, but for PF, if you're privileged like I am to be a minister, a Central Committee member, an MP, you turn the line and you get out. The other colleagues have been appointed for continuity. It's important that we continue where our great leader left us, but some changes have to be made, because during the transition, certain strengths and weaknesses were exposed in our midst, and we should take advantage of those strengths which were exposed. And in saying this, I would like to pay tribute to the Vice President, Honorable Nene. She's a woman of courage, but I've got a lot of reasons for choosing her. Just as much as I have reasons for choosing one of you, but let me talk about her briefly without embarrassing her. She's a solid person. She stood up for the party at a time when we faced possible disintegration and sinking into oblivion. But as a leader, she has proved that she's a uniting factor, and we cannot run away from that fact. She's a mother, and she should bring on board a new lease of life to the party and government. In so doing, I urge the Zambian women to support her, to come forth in the numbers and give her support. The girl child particularly is very vulnerable. That should be an issue of concern. You've said that gender before, you know what I'm talking about. And I can assure you as party president that I'll give you all the support from the party angle and from government. Otherwise, this was not meant to be a press briefing, but since you did the quick one on me, I'll get a few questions probably, and then we can go. Next time, we should distinguish between a swearing-in ceremony and a press briefing. But you'll get one. But I can give you one when I'm ready. When I come to announce the full cabinet, which will be very shortly. But let's not get too work soon. But I'll get a few questions.
Your Excellency, thank you very much. We can take 5 questions from the media only, and then the President will be available for you at a later stage. Yes. The next.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
Let me take this opportunity to congratulate you in person over your victory. I'm Inga Kunda from Joy FM. I just want to find out from you, Mr. President, what your stance is going to be on the issue of the Public Order Act. We have seen that this issue has been a thorny one, and one that threatened to divide the nation in one way or the other. So just like your comment on that issue. And then I would also like to find out from you, Mr. President.
One question, you.
The last one, Mr. President. Sorry for that. I would also just like to know what would be done to improve the judiciary efficiency, because we have seen a lot of people, especially those who are poor, face issues of denial of justice because justice is delayed. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
I will answer one at a time, up to 5. We already have taken 2. Yeah? I said 5 questions. He has taken 2. So the next will be 3 and I'll be done. Anyway, the Public Order Act has been a challenge to the Zambian people by the politicians themselves. I recall when we were in the opposition, we cried foul over the Public Order Act. And when we came into power, we found it a very handy instrument. And that is the truth. From MMD as well, in 1991, they were saying the Public Order Act. When they came, they did nothing about it. But we were good enough to be honest and say it's a tough situation in which we are. This is why we can't do away with. But what we did in our magnanimity was to challenge Parliament to say, colleagues across the divide, please come through with possible amendments, including the association. Let us know what we should remove. To date, we are still waiting. Now with able Minister of Justice, we can pursue the subject further. The question is, why does it become a problem when the Public Order Act is being applied in the political climate of campaigns, for example? Elsewhere, the states have lived with the Act without problems. Civil society has lived with the Act without problems. Where is the problem? The Public Order Act is a necessary evil, as it were, for us in government. But if you can find a better solution in the opposition, the Association of Zambia, give us options and we will interrogate those, and if they are acceptable, we put them on the statutes. Because no country can be governed without law and order. Even the American government acknowledges that, the British acknowledge that. I can see BBC, Reuters and so on. I don't know. Law and order is what makes us be civilized. Otherwise, we would be no different than animals from animals in the jungle. They mind to prey over the weak and so on. But I'm alive to the topical subject, which is the Public Order Act, the challenges we face as politicians. The church has got no problem with the Public Order Act. Civil society, no problem. But it becomes when we are doing politics. At that point, most of the time, you say, sorry, you can't go into China because Mr. Dungu is coming. And then the government says, why should I be stopped from going into China because Mr. Dungu is coming? The government says, if I allow you to come in and Mr. Dungu comes in, I'll be fired. That's the policeman telling you that. And indeed, if Mr. Dungu was malicious, he fired that policeman. So, it's a challenge. I'm going upon all those legal brains who think they are the best. I'm for contribute, submit to the Minister of Justice. And if you can make amendments, we'll do it even in the earliest possible time. That man will see the Minister of Justice. He's about the best you will get. And if you don't utilize him, too bad.
Your Excellency, you may wish to sit as we take the...
Should I take the second question?
No.
No. So that others can benefit.
Your Excellency, my name is Joseph Mwenda. You did mention in your speech yesterday that you have a huge task from the post of Your Excellency. You did mention that your job is within a short period of time, and you have mentioned here that your task is your stay at the house is short and you need to do a lot of work. Does that mean that you may have no interest in the second term?
You are being malicious in that. I told you to start with that I never dreamed that I've been in this office. Colleagues in Parliament, colleagues in the party, are the ones who came and said, Turefa Yalunga, the candidate. Now, if you want to plant that ambition in my head, which I don't have, you'll be surprised that in 2016 I may not want to continue. But it will depend on the people I'm reading, my colleagues. And I make no bones about it. I make no bones about it. Because I never knew that I would have the privilege of standing in front of you, taking oath and swearing people, because it was far from my imagination. And I will say it time and time and again. I'm not so ambitious as to be doing it to myself. What I'm saying is that if my colleagues feel I should continue, depending on the work that I will do, I will go ahead. But if they say that I'll step down.
You want 2016?
I hope that suffices to answer to your question. Let have no illusions. Me, I'm open, and in 2016, if the party endorses me, if I don't have confidence in me, I'll proceed. But if I want, they want, I will step down, and there's nothing to lose. Because I'm still energetic to carry on in other things in life. So don't worry.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
Once again, congratulations on your election to the office of the President. My question is on the constitution. My name is Hamid Kasama from the NBC. Yesterday, Mr. President, we undertook to deliver the people-driven constitution. I want your comment on the two school of thoughts that have surrounded the 50+1 electoral threshold. That is due to the fact that the 50+1 would produce the properly elected president. Then on the other hand, they are opposed to the fact that the 50+1 should not be put in place because of the original voting pattern that we have in the country. So what's your comment?
You see, I've interrogated this issue of 50+1 by discussing with intellectuals, politicians, and scholars on the matter. And what has come out is that they desired to have a balanced vote or confidence in the presidency. I don't know whether I have that. I got 40-something, but I don't know whether I have that. But what I'm saying is that given the current demography in Zambia, you can get 50+1 percentage by having the Northern and Copper Belt vote for you. You exclude the rest of the country. So whether that will be achieved on 50+1, I don't know. Legitimacy, some have said 50+1 gives you legitimacy. I don't know whether I have legitimacy to stand here now. But what I'm trying to say is people have been trying to use the constitution to achieve entry into political limelight through the back door. That will not be allowed. Let us go for the real thing. And let me dare this country now by saying the acting president then, Dr. Guy Scott and myself, shared a lot about this. And one school of thought which was coming out was that we may have to introduce, in the course of time, the 50+1 if you want it so badly. First past the post goes, 50+1 comes in. We can do it quickly. You are talking about running mates. We can do it quickly, cheaply. There are other things which we can do cheaply and quickly. But the question is, will they achieve the intended objective of getting a united Zambia of one Zambia, one nation? Given the current voting pattern, for example, what you find is that Northern Province, Wapula Province, Copper Belt Province, Musinga Province, and Copper Belt voting on 50+1 to exclude the rest of Zambia. We do have achieved the unity that we are talking about. That's my school of thought. But I have views also. But you also have views. At the end of the day, parliamentarians will choose. They will decide. If you want running mates, well, we can change even tomorrow the constitution. We get a running mate. John Abudin Kapata is my running mate. No problem. But whether it will give us the desired objective, you know what I mean? People get these fancy ideas from elsewhere. They don't look at the cultural historical background where these nations are coming from. And they just impose them on us. Cut and paste constitution. That won't work. So, gentlemen, we are free to discuss and discuss and discuss. But we are busy working, continue working with the current constitution until you give us a new one. We have given you the roadmap. I gave you the draft. the minister will work flat out to ensure that we get this much talked about constitution within the shortest possible time. But again, I keep saying that we will not waste resources en masse on this document at the expense of our people's improvement of living standards and infrastructure development. That we not do. We have to balance the budget, we have to balance the expenditure and so on and so forth. I was forced to sign what do you call this, social contract. I didn't sign it. But here I'm pledging that I will do it. I wanted to make a phone call to Father Chiti a while ago, just to assure him that Mwana, don't worry. We mean what word we say. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Your Excellency.
Good morning.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm Chipeta Mavuto from the New Vision newspaper. My question relates to the ECZ. There have been various concerns in terms of the strengthening of the ECZ. One of them has to do with the logistical support and enough powers or teeth, as people may call it. I know some of the issues may be one of them that are recommendations in the draft constitution. But my question is, how is your government going to deal with the issue of the ECZ in terms of strengthening its powers and providing enough logistical support to avoid the recurrence of what happened in the just ended elections before the 2016 elections?
You know, democracy is an expensive game, and when you ask the Minister of Finance, he will tell you how much money we spent out on the budget to make the last election, the recently held election. And speaking for myself, as you talk about constitutional amendments, you also want to strengthen the institution which is governing the democratic processes in the country. But in so doing, you should be mindful that the competing needs on the economy, on the treasury and so on and so forth. All I can say is the government will always want to meet ECZ, and I'm arranging a meeting with the chairperson of ECZ shortly to meet to discuss the way forward, given the challenges we met. One of the things I'll be proposing is to have a transition. When the head of state dies, we have a transition. It's a constitutional provision, of course, but we can find a way of lessening costs by quick succession within the constitution without holding a by-election. And I think those are some of the things I'll be talking to my colleague at Home Affairs, at Justice, to see how we can bring them about, so that we do away with this scenario of by-elections, both at presidential and at local government level, at parliamentary level. If one passes on, a mechanism should be put in place which quickly sees transition without incurring so huge expenses that by-elections. But in strengthening the Election Commission of Zambia, it's the Election Commission of Zambia themselves to tell us these areas require strengthening. But you mean there should be penalized players and sing them out of the game. And some people have said if you're found wanting during the process, should be eliminated by red card during the election. I don't know whether that's what you want to do, but you guide us. I want to say me, I'm a listener, a keen one. So if Zambians want to have an electoral process where ECZ has powers to disqualify the person in the process of campaigning, so be it. I will take it and vote. But personally, I have my own views. If that's the strength they want, Zambians will give it to them. If they don't give them, too bad. But me, I can only strengthen them in terms of capacity, in terms of resources. But the power to eliminate a contestant, power to punish a contestant or fine a contestant, I don't know. Is that what you're talking about? Capacity. This capacity money will give them, according to reason. But we should do away with these by-elections all the time. Every time a president dies, we have a by-election, no. Every time a parliamentarian resigns, we have a by-election, no. That we would like to work through very, very quickly to save our money so that it goes into the right areas. So,
the President to take two last questions, Mr. Chireko.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
As a country,
you supported me. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm from Jubilee Leadership Media, and you are joining with President. I'm also country director of Friends of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu.
That's how I know.
Mr. President, I would like to give you our first tough question. As the unifying president, what strategy do you have to save Southern Province from becoming so regional in that they said to you, or they said to the PF government, it did nothing to deserve a thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
I think, firstly, I must point out that I am one of the students who closely watched the style and leadership of our late president. And he taught me to move on. He lost elections several times, but each time we wanted to fight to get him to join us, to fight what we perceive to be a wrong process or a result which has been stolen from him. He always kept telling me, no, Zambia is bigger and better off with people who appreciate the united nature of this country. And he has gone down on record as one man who embraced all of us, including all of us who didn't vote for us. And you know, wish to know that he brought on board colleagues from the opposition into government. I bet at Deputy Minister level, but that was a gesture of goodwill and the desire to show that he does not take grudges along with him on account of having different people. He did a lot of work in Southern Province. He's left a lot of projects that are ongoing. Western Province the same, Northwestern Province the same. Most people in the majority didn't vote for PF, they voted for UPND. So if I would be punishing Southern Province for having denied me, it would be taken away from the spirit of Mr. Sata, which is what me here. Let me assure you that if I had it my way, my first port of call would be 12 duty in Southern Province. But I have been able to do that for some reason. But I love every Zambian. I love every part of Zambia. And we equitably distribute resources to ensure that the country develops uniformly. But there are some deprived areas in Western Province and in Mansa, which are recorded as the highest and the poorest, the poor province and Western Province. NDP statistics show that they're the poorest. But what I'm saying is that we will not look at who didn't vote for us or who voted for us. We not even look at tribe. We look at Zambia. PF is a good example of national character. I've boasted and let me boast again here. If we weren't, I wouldn't be here. I'm not a clansman of the late president, neither my tribe spec. But people in PF live beyond tribalism, beyond these small isms, and they found it fit to put their trust in me. That's why I'm here. So I'll carry on with that vision. I'll carry on with that mandate. Otherwise, I'll be betraying Mr. Sata. So Southern Province, here I come.
Good morning, Your Excellency.
Good morning.
My name is Adele from QFM. Just wanted to find out if you are attaching any time frame to the enactment of the people-driven constitution.
No, what you do when you delegate, you simply supervise. And I cannot put my minister in a tight corner. The Grand Coalition forced me to sign a contract. I refused, but I've beaten them because I've given the roadmap, I've given the draft, I've given them a competent minister. But please don't put a gun to our head. In principle, we want this thing done quickly, but we have to balance our resources, and that's why I'm even proposing here, in a way, that let's look at those contentious, highly contentious aspects which we think probably can bring harmony. Let's look at it now. And as we wait for a major document to come, because this thing will go. That's why I was saying it can't be P1. It will go a lot of money. It can't be P1 in 1 year, 6 months. I do that. It means we have the entire national budget to go to that process. I'm saying no to that. But by 2016, if possible, we will work out something which will please you and many other people. But to say I commit myself, that I will dedicate myself primarily to the constitution-making process when you elect me, I said no, and I'm saying no now. Thank you very much.
after the national anthem, only those that have been sworn in may join His Excellency for a group picture.
One land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace is on the sky. Like a noble eagle in its flight, Zambia, praise to thee, oh one, strong and free. Praise be to God. Praise me, praise me, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Free me, son, under the flag of our land, Zambia, praise to thee, oh one, strong and free.
That was just finished swearing in his new cabinet.